Welcome to my channel. So today I'm so excited because I'm going to bring to you the products that just came in. As you can see, we have a 6mm round, a 7mm liner, a 10mm liner, an 8mm flat, and a 9mm flat. This brush here has a logo, which is really cool, and if you look really carefully, you'll find all kinds of beautiful glitters, maybe even some green in there. It's just amazing. The lids are really nice and secure. This one here is a 6mm round, which you can use for shading. Look at that. Excellent for shading. And it's small enough and thin enough that you can draw lines if you need to. Then we have a 7mm liner brush. This one here is super beautiful. And look how tiny this brush is. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. It comes tapered to a point, and you're able to do gorgeous lines with it. The next one is a 10mm liner brush as well. This one is a little thicker. You can open it up to make it flat with a line, or you can use the tip to draw your lines if you need to. It's also really good for shading as well. So depending on the area that you're at and you need to shade, this would be excellent. Then we have an 8mm flat brush, which is more of a little bit tapered on the sides. There we go. Of course, these brushes are stiff, so they haven't been used. They're brand new. Really stiff. These are great for large areas to cover, and as well as shading if necessary or cleanup. And the last brush is a 9mm flat brush. This is a true flat. The other one is more of a little bit oval, so it's tapered. This one is excellent as well. And like I said, these are stiff, so brand spanking new. And here you have them. And if you're wondering why do I have these labels outside, because to do the silk screening on a brush is expensive, and so to try to keep the cost down, I just put the labels on the tubes. And here is the gel thinner. Now this gel thinner, so that you know, in case you didn't, is a gel thinner used primarily for thinning out your gel polishes. This is really cool because what you can do with this is you put this in your palette on top of your paints or in a separate well. That way you're able to use it to thin out these beautiful, luxurious gel polishes that I created. So this is SGN's beautiful gel thinner. It's used to dilute the gel polish. You must seal it well, keep it in a cool, dry place, and keep it away from heat or any fire sources, including your little ones. Please make sure you keep it out of the reach of children. Then we have our Moisturizing Professional Fine Art Palette box. And as you can see here, it indicates the color. I've chosen this color because it's my brand color. This has 18 wells, and it's used to place all of your gel paints. So let's give it an open. Look how beautiful that color is. God, that's gorgeous. I love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. It's so beautiful. And the palette, like I indicated, comes with 18 wells all the way around. You have two places where you can put your gel polishes for mixing. And in addition, you have another well separate that comes out of the palette itself. When you want to use it for larger mixing, this is a great mixing area for if you're doing press-on nails, you're doing 10 sets, you want to have more paints in here to mix. And then, of course, you have the large built-in well that's in here as well. This you can use as a well as well. It's also got a seal all the way around so that way when you close this up, for example, you put your well back in, you give it a close, and you lock it in place. Unlock, lock. What I like to do is I like to put my paints directly in here. So for example, if I wanted to use SGN's gel polishes, here's the base and the matte coat. Here are all the other polishes, and what I like to do is I keep them here. Here is your 10-piece, 15 milliliter gel polishes. Now, just so you know, each of these says HEMA and TPO free. It's fantastic. It is so viscous. I know I've mentioned this before, but it truly is. If I was to open this one, and this is the red that I actually used underneath these beautiful sparkles, this is the red I use. If I open this, you're going to be able to see how thick and viscous this is. Look, just in case you don't believe me. Look at how long it takes and that beautiful drip. Let's try the red. I'm going to try some of this red on the palette. I'm going to put a tiny little dot in a well. The tiniest dot right there in this well. It's so thick. It's crazy good. So I'm going to grab some of this polish, and I want to use my brush just to show you something, which I think is really cool. Look how thick it is. And if you use it straight like this with a different brush and not the brush that comes in the bottle, you can do a super thin consistency, which looks like jelly, which is kind of cool if you ask me. But I wanted to do this on purpose just to give you guys an idea of what this is capable of doing, okay? So there's a jelly look. But I'm not done. Let's get that red again. I'm gonna add quite a bit here in the well. And let's say I want it a little thinner. So we're gonna use the gel thinner. And when I say you're gonna add a dot, I mean really it doesn't need very much, just one tiny dot. Okay, that's it. Now, in order to mix it, you can use the brush, or I don't like always using the brushes. You can use these little mixers that they sell all over. It's this one right here. And by the way, this is really great if you're doing aquarium nails and you need to put some of the pieces in. You can use this because it's small and thin, as you can see. But I'm going to use this to mix this. You can use an orange wood stick. You can use pretty much anything. And if you guys can see, this is mixing really nicely with it. Now the consistency is a little bit thinner. So let's see what that looks like. I grab it and I'm going to polish the nail right on top of this one to give you guys an idea of how nice that flows. Look at how beautiful that flows. And if you still aren't happy with it, grab some more. But you are able to do this in the way that works best for you. So if you think that that was too much thinner, then of course, by all means, add some more polish. That's how you do that. I'm going to wipe this off, and then I'm going to use it straight from the bottle itself, just to give you guys an idea. And what I'm using is just straight plain old alcohol. going to just take this off the stand, hold it, and okay, there we go. That's quite a bit. All right, let's set this down to show you what this looks like when you use the polish straight from the bottle. Look at this. Look at this, guys. This is what I'm talking about. When you get a polish that can do this, you know you have something that's gold. Okay, this is not a promise. This is not my saying, oh, this is really great polish and you guys should buy it. No, this is proof. Proof in the package of how beautiful these polishes are. One coat. Look at that. One coat. One coat. Okay. When you cure these, however, I must say you have to wipe them. So you'll need a top coat because this is a portrait palette set of gel polishes. I went with a base coat and a matte top coat because when you're working with portraits, you want a matte finish. You can, however, use your own favorite. And my favorite top coat is made by Gaoe, but I am going to try to come up with my own top coat, okay? I want a diamond hardened type top coat that lasts for weeks, and that's what I'm working on, okay? But look at that. That is so beautiful. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And you cure it for 60 seconds. Now, just so you know, sometimes black particularly or any dark color polish is going to take some time. So what you want to make sure you do, you're curing your nail tips as best you can, and the longer the better. Okay, one final thought right here, and I'm going to try to zoom in a little bit. This is a palette where I just mixed the gel thinner. Now you can take this and this little bit that's left and put it back in the polish if you choose to. If you don't, you don't. So I'm going to just wipe it off. And I'm going to try to pick up the rest as much as I can. And like I said before, this is red, so red might stain. Okay. Let's try one more. Just really want to wipe this down really, really well and get as much as I can from here off. So let's get this off. All right, so keep it in here, and now I'm going to continue to wipe off. Now, you can do it this way, like I'm doing it. I try to get as much paint off as I can. And to me, it seems like the brush is a really good way to do it. But this is a flat brush, and I'm not changing the shape of the brush or anything by doing this. So I'm setting that aside. Now I'm going to take a little bit more of the alcohol. And I'm going to place that in here. And I'm going to continue to wipe what I can from it. Now, like I said before, this might stain, but it's nothing to panic about. So there it is, cleaned as best I could. I could probably get some more off. And if this doesn't work, which I think it did leave a little bit of a stain right up in here. But I got most of it off. So the trick is try to remove as much paint as you can from your well. And then clean it with the alcohol. Because I did that red, I'm going to tell to myself, okay, so I'm going to keep my red here. And possibly my white and my black and so on and so forth. So you decide what gel polish goes in which well, okay? It could be in any of these wells. So, having said that, this is the well. This is up close. You can see a little bit of a residue, but I don't worry about that kind of stuff. I see a little bit right here. So let's see if I can wipe that up. And I did, and it came right off, okay? Now, if you put too much alcohol, sometimes it's going to remove the shine away. In this case, it didn't very much because I took most of the polish off. And that's how I do my work. So that's it. This is the SGN palette. This is the gel thinner. These are the brushes, with the exception of this one, which I use. And here is my gel polish line, which, if y'all know, I'm crazy in love with these guys. These are magnificent in my opinion. So 15-piece set. And you're gonna love these. I am not kidding you. I'm not talking because I want to say, hey, buy my products. No, these products sell themselves because they're so good. You know, like I said, they're highly pigmented, they're HEMA-free, TPO-free, and that's what I've created. Okay, and these are all the colors swatched. So you have the white, the beige, the taupe, the orange, the red, the sienna, the dark brown, and the black. And of course I have the matte finish on top. This orange is fluorescent, so you can use that and mix it up with other colors and maybe use them during the holidays. These are what I use for portrait painting. I did use this red, however, on this nail, on these nails, okay? This is a base coat of this red underneath these nails. And I also used the white as well. Here's my white, and I use that here to do this little snowflake. This white or this snowflake. And it's a beautiful white, by the way. It reminds me of the snow and just so many different clouds. So, and this is my red. That's the red that I use. This is matte finish. This is gloss finish, okay? A little bit different, but it's the same red. It's gorgeous. Okay, guys, see you in the next one. Bye.